Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my monthly review for this month's issue of the Walking Dead comic book series. This is for issue 167. It's called A Certain Doom. And pretty major spoiler warning for this one because it does contain a huge event in the Walking Dead comic book series. So this one, in this issue, like I said, spoilers, last warning, we see basically the death of Andrea. So quite the surprising issue for me. I mean, I knew from the cover we had Andrea holding Rick, and you see them inside of a house. It's called A Certain Doom. I was kind of in denial for this one. If you guys have seen my reviews for the past couple months for the Walking Dead comic book series, I really did not think that Andrea was going to be getting killed off here. I figured it would be something else and it wouldn't end up being a bite. Maybe it'd end up being like a cut or something like this, or you know, some kind of gash or something that happened as part of the zombie herd that they kind of led away, and I was wrong. I was 100% wrong. You could say that maybe I was in denial. You know, that's kind of first stage, but man, this is one of the absolute saddest issues of the comic book series ever, for sure. I was expecting to see some kind of twist in it, and for the conclusion where Andrea would live, like something like maybe they thought she was burning out and then she doesn't. So in this one, I was kind of tricked, so to speak, as a reader, because I kept figuring that something was going to happen and we would see a twist like, oh, you know, Andrea's not going to die, because in the Walking Dead comic book series, she is an A-lister. You know, she is, can I say A-plus lister because we have so many characters, but she is one of your forefront characters. There's even, you know, I mean, there's covers with her on it. She's been in so many different story arcs since, you know, close to the beginning of the series. When we first meet her, you know, like the first volume or two, she's, you know, they've even, Skybound website even has t-shirts with Andrea on it. I almost bought one time, decided not to, but now I kind of think I should have. I mean, she's one of the, I've got an action figure of her, right? Well, there's the TV series. Oh, yeah, no, that's her. There's the comic Rick, and there's the comic Andrea right there. So this one was a super sad issue for me. This was an incredibly sad issue. I thought it was a good choice, though, for them to spend, you know, because we did have the stuff happening with Sherry just recently, and we see in this one, just briefly, Dwight being super pissed when he finds Sherry dead, or should I say Dweryl, because the way the hair's done and everything, it looks just like Daryl being really pissed off, and I can really picture Daryl being in that situation in the TV series version when this is eventually adapted. Who knows, it could just be simply Dwight as well, too. Which makes sense for him to be super pissed at Rick and be like, what the F happened? Granted, he probably kind of knows that is how it went down and Rick is telling the truth. But, you know, Rick losing his wife, of course, takes precedence over that. So obviously Dwight and the others are going to give him some time to kind of grieve and figure things out with what happened with Andrea here. So this is definitely the saddest issue of the Walking Dead comic book series ever for me. Reading it through, I got teary-eyed quite a few times, especially near the beginning. And then when you see it actually happen and kind of having everybody come to visit her. And I thought that was really good the way they did the frames for that one, the panels for that one. You have like each character that's important come and say their goodbyes. And there's one funny one to break up all the sadness. Negan comes in and he says, "They weren't going to let me see you. You were a badass and hot as F. It would have been an honor if you had been the one to kill me." So that's pretty cool. It almost kind of breaks the fourth wall there in a bit, like, you know, for me to be like, okay, obviously someone's going to kill Negan. Well, I guess it doesn't. It doesn't at the same time, because it's kind of like, you know, he knew that all these people wanted to get revenge on him and kill him, and if anybody, he would have been satisfied or honored if she was the one who did it, because he's probably been thinking in that prison cell for, you know, years of who it's going to be who actually kills him. Maybe she would be one of the ones that he would want to see kill him. So that was pretty funny. That was, you know, pretty much one of the only light parts in the entire issue. The rest of the issue is just really sad, man. So we got the cover. We got Andrea holding Rick. We've got Andrea burning up. She passes out. Oh, God, yeah, I effed up. And then you've got Rick shouts out, somebody help me type of deal. And then Michonne comes rushing in, and tells Rick starts to kind of like, he's just emotional, and she tells him like, you can't make Andrea do anything. That's why you love her so much. She's really hard headed. She's not going to listen no matter what. We've got then Dwight finding Sherry dead. What did she do? Dwight is really pissed off. You can see from his face. Andrea doesn't want Rick in there, and then you've got Carl, who kind of walks in and says, "Mom." Just some really, really sad, moments of kind of Andrea in her last moments in the series. Listen to me, Carl. No one is special. You get this kind of dialogue where she kind of tells him that. I don't think she still doesn't like Lydia very much, it sounds like, in death, and even Lydia acknowledges that she thinks that she doesn't really like her. Michonne to Rick, I'll always be here for you, even or until I'm not. So Michonne kind of accepting that nobody's invincible, and she'll be there for him until eventually she's gone as well too. And you see her put her head on his shoulder. So maybe the start possibly down the road, and maybe a couple years or something, of possibly Michonne and Rick getting together. We'll have to see. That's kind of what I was thinking when I read that. I was like, okay, is he going to sync up the TV series with the comic series by kind of changing the opposite one? So because, of course, Andrew was killed off earlier, would he then have Rick and Michonne get together in the comic book series to have that sync with the TV series, which we've already seen them kind of get together, and how that's working, and really working well in the TV series version. In the comic series version, doing this or having Andrea die could open up that opportunity or that potential, because Michonne is one of the closest people to him there, and he might see comfort in her in the next while, but it can't be right away. It'd have to be a couple years from now or something, I think. But I mean, this huge death right in the comic series for sure. You've got Eugene crying and kind of people and blaming himself, and Rick kind of telling him like, you can't. Everyone's saying their goodbyes. You've got the funny one from Negan and all the others that are pretty heartfelt. And then people always died. It's part of life, that kind of part. And you can and you will, people need you. And then you get some really good dialogue at the end that I'm not going to butcher in this review. Pretty much, very simply, read the issue, even just for the dialogue at the end, or kind of the thoughts at the end that are going through with Rick and the others, and Andrea's last words of what she says to him, because it's really important, I think, for the series, and it gives you an overall sense of direction for the series and what the purpose of why the characters are doing what they're doing, why they're striving, why they're trying to go on, even though the world is so difficult. It's it's for the future, it's for others as well. Basically, that's what it comes down to. She tells him, people need you, and even if it's not for you, it's for others. There's also some good ones in here about being happy, that Andrea kind of tells Carl that nobody's really compatible, and the important part is that you make each other happy. There really is no such thing as compatibility, and I think that's pretty much true for most people that get into serious relationships, and that you find that you have to change in order to make the relationship work, right, is basically what it is. For in most cases, I would think, because that's just reality. That's just the way the world. That's just how it goes. So the end, you can and you will, people need you, and then they get kind of the burial part, and you'll keep going. You need to, that's what the people need. Follow me, there's still much to do, and then you see the sun, and you see his face and everything. So amazing artwork. This one's a little bit, I think it has more pages than usual, but rightfully so. We get the part of Rick kind of putting Andrea down, where at first he's kind of hesitant on it, and he's kind of losing the will to fight here, and she kind of goes after him. It's pretty close, it looks like to me. Maybe one of the closest near deaths for Rick has ever had. But he's able to find the strength. He's able to muster the strength to kill her and put her down for everyone else, I want to say. Even if he himself maybe doesn't, at that time, doesn't want to continue, he has to do it for the people that he has to protect, and his mission, so to speak, or his purpose. So really exciting part, but dark, scary there when you finally see her become a zombie. For me, I was thinking, oh my god, it's just like I was expecting this twist, and it's kind of like by not changing it, by just doing it, like, okay, yeah, Andrea's dying and she's dead. It's like what? It's kind of like a double twist, because I expected to see some kind of a twist, and her live somehow, and she just didn't. And so it's like a double twist. It's like a twist this way and back. Because I expected you to go this way and you went this way. I expected you to twist on us, so you didn't. And so checkmate. You got me. I did not expect that to happen. And I'm sure a lot of you guys didn't either. So a very, very sad issue. A very, very emotional issue. The saddest issue of The Walking Dead ever, I think I can say. the saddest death in The Walking Dead ever, for sure, I think. So yeah, man, I mean, I say, like, I enjoy the issue, but oh man, was it ever sad. It is necessary, though, I think, and I'm glad that they took the time and they put the characters in a situation where they would have the time to kind of reflect on that and for everyone to say their goodbyes to such an important character in the Walking Dead comic book series. I'm still kind of in shock over it. I'm still kind of in disbelief over it because it's just such a huge death in the series to see. I really did not see that coming at all. So there goes. People, one of their criticisms with Walking Dead is that the A-listers are never killed off. Well, clearly at this point is not true. Some of them definitely are going to be killed off, and nobody's really 100% safe. So, man, exciting part at the end there when Rick has to put her down. Great kind of a final, pieces of dialogue, great final words from Andrea, and for Rick as well, too, to kind of go on afterwards, into the sun, that kind of thing. In terms of score for this issue, I couldn't think of anything else but to give it but a perfect score. It's one of the most emotional issues in the series ever. It's probably one of the most important issues of the series ever for people that have been reading it since the beginning, because you do have the final moments for one of the most important characters in the entire series. So I love the issue. Really sad, really emotional, most emotional ever. But I'm glad they went that route rather than kind of skipping over it and not kind of digging into all the nitty-gritty emotions that are involved with, a character like that. And pretty unsurprising, unpredictable, I want to say, to see, Andrew being killed off in such a fashion. I definitely did not see that coming. And even when it was coming and it seemed to be happening, I was in denial and I didn't think that that's what was going to happen. So at this point, I mean, let me know what you guys felt about the issue. What did you think? Write your comments below. How were you reading this one? Was it emotional for you as it was for me? How did you like the lines at the end there? And maybe some of your favorite lines, because there's a lot of them in here, and a lot of them are really, important because they're the final kind of mission purpose type lines from Andrea, as well as to Rick thinking through those as they're kind of burying and doing everything they're doing, the hands on the shoulder and stuff. Very, very emotional issue, great issue, and absolute must read for fans of The Walking Dead. You cannot skip. That's one thing about The Walking Dead. You cannot skip issues like that. You can't. If you want to get the full story, you got to read them all. So that'll be it for today's video. I look forward to seeing your guys' comments. If you liked it, please thumb it up below. You can also share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe at the bottom left. Leave a comment with how you guys felt about the issue, how it made you feel, and whether or not you saw it coming, or were you like me in denial up until the very end. So for this one, I'll see you guys again soon. For another, as always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.